I think it's Alabama. A lot of people amazingly have forgotten about Alabama. Without Nick Saban, they missed the playoffs. They lost more games than they have since 2007. But I believe they're better at quarterback, and that sounds crazy, with Ty Simpson against Jalen Milroe, who was amazing at times, but also terrible at times. I think they have elite wide receivers. They have probably the second best wide receiver in the country in Ryan Williams. Their defense is going to be top notch. And they also go to Georgia. The problem there is Georgia lost to Alabama, a little bit of a revenge game, but I think they managed the season very well.
Say that again?
I think it's Alabama.
You serious?
Find a woman that loves you the way Paul Finebaum loves Alabama. At this point, just name Paul Finebaum the Alabama spokesperson. Talk about delusion at its finest. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Paul Finebaum predicting that Alabama will be a major contender in the SEC. Remember, Alabama is coming off of a season where they failed to reach 10 wins for the first time since 2007. As of right now, Ty Simpson is currently the projected starting quarterback for Alabama in 2025. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. Is Alabama the biggest threat to Texas in the SEC? No, there are not. There are several teams that are bigger threats to Texas in the SEC, and you could have gone with a better answer than Alabama, Paul Finebaum. For me personally, I believe Georgia is the biggest threat to Texas in the SEC. Quite frankly, I don't really see how there is another close candidate. Paul Finebaum is absolutely wrong in this take. How can you say Alabama is the biggest threat to Texas when their quarterback situation is pretty shaky? They also have a new offensive coordinator in place. His name is Ryan Grubb. He is coming off of a season where he struggled massively as the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, NFL and college ball, they are two completely different departments, but I feel very shaky watching this Alabama coaching staff build itself. They have a new offensive coordinator in place. They have a new quarterback in place. Yes, they retain the same running back, and yes, they do have some different receivers, but for the most part, there is a lack of continuity on Alabama's roster. I know some people are going to say, what about the fact that everybody goes through the transfer portal and that everybody goes through massive changes? But the thing with Alabama is they are going through massive changes at key positions. They have a new play caller. They have a new quarterback in place. They also play in one of the toughest conferences in the country. Some people might consider the SEC the best conference in football, and Alabama, quite frankly, just does not have enough compared to some of the other teams in the SEC. In fact, I wouldn't even say Alabama is in position to make the SEC championship game this year. That's right, I don't even see Alabama getting into the SEC championship game this year. So forget about them as being the biggest threat to Texas. I could name you at least 3 or 4 other teams that are better than Alabama at the current moment, maybe even 5 teams if I really wanted to be a true hater of Alabama football, but I'm not going to go that far. I truly believe Alabama will keep things interesting for a while. I do believe Alabama has the capability to beat good football teams, but in terms of putting it all together and winning 10 games and getting themselves in position for an SEC championship game, no, I don't see it happening. I'm not a believer in Ty Simpson. He's their starting quarterback, and Ty Simpson plays a lot like Matt Corral. That means he's going to be a quarterback that will not show up in big games. He's going to be RPO dependent, and Alabama's offense is going to struggle at times. Is Ty Simpson more accurate than Jalen Milroe? Absolutely. But Jalen Milroe is a better athlete than Ty Simpson. Alabama is going to have their hands tied at the quarterback position. However, they are going to be running an air raid based offense, mainly because of the offensive coordinator they are bringing in. Ryan Grubb loves to throw the football a lot, and Kalen DeBoer is also a head coach that is known to throw the football a lot. So obviously, there are going to be some schematic issues. I don't think Kalen DeBoer is necessarily a great fit at Alabama either. Is he a terrible head coach? Of course not. There are qualifications Kalen DeBoer has that make you say to yourself, wow, he's a pretty good head coach. But then there are other qualifications that make you wonder, how does he fit in at Alabama? You have to have elite emotional intelligence when talking to these players at Alabama. Kalen DeBoer does not have that. I also want to show you guys this clip of Kalen DeBoer talking about how he failed to live up to the standard at Alabama last year. I could not agree more with what Kalen DeBoer had to say. I felt the same way myself. Roll the film.
If you internally ask us, no. Like we fell short of
making the playoffs. It's as simple as that, right? And giving yourself a chance to go compete for a championship. I think there's a lot of things that I'm super proud of that are happening within the program that are part of the progression. Yeah, we want it right now too. So yeah, we fell short. Our guys, you know, again, I'm proud of them and the way they've responded to, you know, us, you know, not realizing the goals that we, you know, set out to have, and getting back just to work and focusing on the main thing. I feel that's always been the case, but sometimes there's just ups and downs you got to go through, unfortunately, that we had to experience. But in the end, you know, we're going to take advantage of the failures we've had and be better because of it.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Well, at least he took responsibility for last season. I've seen some people in the media give Kalen DeBoer a pass only because it was year one at Alabama. But based on what I've seen from Kalen DeBoer so far, this is not going to work out in the long term. I'm not a big believer in Ty Simpson. I know there's going to be some games where he'll put up numbers and people are going to say, wow, Ty Simpson is a really good quarterback. But you guys have to remember, this is Alabama we're talking about. Any quarterback at Alabama could put up big numbers with the receivers that they have. They do have talented wide receivers, but Ty Simpson is not necessarily a good quarterback. I also think that South Carolina and LSU and possibly Florida, they're going to be better than Alabama as well. Obviously, Texas is going to be better than Alabama as well. If Ty Simpson was truly that guy, then he would have been able to beat out Jalen Moreau on the depth chart. Obviously, that didn't happen though. As far as how Alabama stacks up against the other teams in the SEC, I don't think they're going to be a better team than Georgia. I don't think they're going to be a better team than Texas. I don't think they're going to be a better team than LSU. I don't even think they're going to be a better team than South Carolina, and who knows, maybe Florida has a chance to surpass Alabama in the SEC standings this year. I'm just not that sold on Alabama. Their defense has gotten worse ever since the retirement of Nick Saban. I expect that trend to continue. Offensively, they don't really have the personnel to make a pass-first offense work. I don't really believe in Ty Simpson. If Ty Simpson was that guy, then he would have already shown signs of being better than Jalen Moreau. If he's not better than Jalen Moreau, then there's no way Alabama is going to make the college football playoff. There's no way that you could say with a straight face Alabama is the biggest threat to Texas in the SEC. I think Georgia's a bigger threat than them. I think LSU's a bigger threat to them. I think South Carolina's a bigger threat to Texas, and possibly even Florida is a bigger threat to Texas. Let's see how all of this plays out though. Their running game, they're not really committed to it. Jam Miller is a solid running back for Alabama, but they don't run the ball nearly often enough for the amount of times that Jam Miller needs to get the football in his hands. They're going to be a pass-first team in 2025, and I predict that will end poorly for Alabama. If somebody told me Alabama only won 8 or 9 games in 2025, I would completely believe that. In fact, if somebody told me Alabama finished the season with a 7-5 record, I would say, yeah, that's definitely possible. I think Alabama is currently on pace to be an underachieving football team in 2025. Paul Finebaum is absolutely on drugs for saying Alabama is the biggest threat to Texas. I don't see Alabama being much of a factor in 2025. Book it, bookmark it, make sure you write it down in terms of my predictions. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. If I'm right, well, then you guys are going to have to absolutely praise me, because like I said, I do not predict Alabama to be much of anything in 2025. They're not going to make the college football playoff, and they're definitely not the biggest threat to Texas in the SEC. So that is why Alabama is not the biggest threat to Texas in the SEC, as Paul Finebaum's optimism towards Alabama football is certainly delusional, to say the least. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.